I told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Chafing in Asia, gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, where today we'll be covering Married at First Sight, Season 17, the Where They Now special, the last episode of this 17th season that's been so long. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, my co-host, Aysha Welch. Aysha, I want to start this out by grabbing our mugs full of cacao and really speaking into existence our intentions and our wishes and desires for the next season of Married at First Sight. I would just like to say my wish for next season is that we have less quitters, that we have less annoying people, that we have I'll even say more love. I'll take that. I mean, and honestly, I would love more mess that actually gets resolved, that actually we have answers and receipts for. Aysha, how about you? This is a cleansing moment. You go ahead and give your wishes and desires.
Yeah, so for my intentions for season 18 of Married at First Sight, I would like for people to actually want to get married at first sight. It's kind of an odd concept, but it seems like we need to go back to the drawing board
Yes,
and revisit the name of the show.
I feel that.
Find people who want to get married at first sight. I also would like to find people who do not care about the optics. Because
my wish and desire is to never hear the word optics ever again.
Right. No optics talk. Let's get some better men.
That's a tall task.
I hate to say it, Chloe, but let's get some overall better batch of men. Let's get some, we had, 1.5 this season, but let's get some mature women.
Who was the half?
Chloe.
Oh, wait, who was the one?
Lauren.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see you. Yeah. Listen, all good wishes.
She's the one and the two.
She's the one. I'm the one and the two. All good wishes and desires. We put that out in the universe. Hopefully, the universe brings us back.
Look, I could go all day.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I could go until my cacao is cold. Okay.
Until your cacao turns into cocoa.
Right. Because the amount of complaints that we have had this season, I can't believe we've made it to the last episode.
We're here. We made it. It seems like it's been an extra long season. Maybe we say that every season. I feel like they're like, by the time we get to the end of it, this felt long, didn't it? But I think it's just long. It's just a long season, no matter what season you're in. But I'm appreciative of this season because it gave a lot of firsts. It gave a lot of interesting things for us to talk about. So I'm appreciative of the season. Like I mentioned last week, it's in my top 10 of seasons, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to do, if I were able to split the 17 into thirds, it'd be probably the bottom of my second tier. Okay. It's definitely not the worst season of all time, but I kind of look at it as, which seasons would I rewatch? And I don't see how I would rewatch this.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't rewatch this season. Just I'm trying to think of which seasons would I rewatch. I would
rewatch season 10.
I'd rewatch 10, 11. I'd rewatch Boston with Lindsay and Mark. That was interesting. Yeah, well, the rewatchability for this one's probably not high. I agree with you there.
Yeah. So Oh, I did have another thing. So, Jason,
Uh-oh, here we go.
I was on Instagram and I went to like try to find you and I found out that you had blocked me. And I think it's because this is just my suspicion is that because I followed Marissa, your other co-host on the Good Pod.
I just feel like there's supposed to be some separation between the people, and I feel like it just wasn't right. I'm sorry that for being irate at you for yelling at you for following my other co-host. That was so weird.
So weird.
Because as many things in this where they now special, no real follow up, no other side of the story. It was like, why? I honestly, we'll talk about it, but I just honestly don't believe that Chloe was irate just because you followed.
Like, why? Because you followed someone from your cast.
Yeah.
What?
Gotta be more of that story.
And y'all are both single? I'm kind of confused.
Mm-hmm.
It would be different if she was like, okay, she followed him, and then there were so many DMs, and then I was hanging out with Michael, and she kept texting him.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it would be different if they were like besties or something, and then Lauren followed Michael. Like, and let's say that Chloe and Michael were on rocky terms, and Chloe and Lauren were good friends, and then Lauren follows Michael. That would be something. But for Chloe to be quote unquote irate, I would like to see Chloe irate.
The ultimate betrayal.
The ultimate betrayal. There's got to be something else going on there, but we'll get into all that when we get around to that portion of the show.
But before we get started, make sure y'all go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. If you're just joining us and you've missed all of our coverage of season 17, you can find it all there.
You got a lot to catch up on.
Right? Every episode we have talked about. Every episode of Married at First Sight, season 17. And then, go subscribe, give us a 5-star rating and review. This week, we only have one to shout out to round us out to the end of the season. So this is from Linnea Mac. Linnea Mac. It's titled MAFS Hunger Games Style. It says, I've been listening for a few seasons, but I just finished listening to the reunion part 1 and had to comment. When you were talking about how they signed up for this and how they weren't made to do it, it dawned on me. Hunger Games. This season's cast win in Hunger Games style. I laughed so hard listening to your antics and find myself watching the show and getting excited about what you guys are going to say about it. For the first time, I'm only going to listen to the podcast for part 2 and skip the show. Thank you for being the best part of, quote unquote, this process. Linnea.
That was a great review. I really appreciate it. It is almost like these people, especially the men, feels like they were kidnapped. Like they just a van pulled up next to them. They open the sliding doors, like get it here. Especially for like a Brennan and an Austin, where Austin's like, well, I didn't want my family to see me talking about sex. That's part of the show, man. Like that's the thing you do. Like you came into this with the totally wrong mindset, obviously.
And this is how they act like they were sold the show. Hey, would you be interested in meeting your spouse at the altar? And you're like, oh, like it's gonna be like, will other people know? Oh, it's just gonna be a little TikTok, less than a minute. We're just gonna highlight a couple of things on TikTok. That's it.
It's like they promise it's like they get sold them a false bill of goods. Like you'll have total editorial control. You'll control everything that we show. And then when they get there, like, yeah, we were just kidding. We're going to totally bear you under the bus. It's like they get to the wedding. It's like, wait, what are these cameras doing here?
Right.
I thought you were just matching me with my soulmate. Like what you didn't tell me this would be a reality show.
Woo, yes. But also I had some homework last week. So this is my second homework assignment that I did actually do from this podcast, which I was thinking back when I covered the Houston season, it would have been so fun to actually go to the places that I was seeing, but I didn't do any of that homework.
You promised us all that you'd be going there. Right. And you never did. Never did.
But last week we talked about thrifting and how I'm an avid thrifter. And how I just wasn't, I just hadn't been thrifting a lot. Okay. I did go to a thrift store. I got this shirt. I really like it. I love the color. I love the fabric. And it's a nice cozy shirt.
Asia. You just couldn't help yourself but to appropriate poor culture. You had to just go see what the other side is like. You should have been allowed. They should check your bank account before you walk into a thrift store. As if they did, you wouldn't be allowed to come in. Okay. Let me go see what the poors do. Let me go live among the poors for a minute, and then go back to my ivory tower, my palatial mansion. Let me see how the other side of the tracks lives. You think it's cute? You think it's fun? To see what we are subjected to? Let me go buy this shirt and show it off on the podcast to show that I contribute to the poors. Were you okay when you walked in? Did you feel itchy? Did you squirm at the condition of the place? But I mean, well, it feels like you went. What is it called? The
Buffalo Exchange.
Buffalo Exchange sounds like a bougie thrift store anyway. I will question where they got the donations from, with whether or not they're real or not. So I don't know what the condition of this store was, but you just had to let me go see what the poors are doing. Let me go see how they're living. Oh, poor poors! I'll buy some of their wares and show it off on the podcast. How dare
there were
you.
So many options. It was just an abundance of options.
How dare you take our culture and pervert it, show it off.
Whatever.
Where you're like, this is all it costs? I don't have to pay any more money? Wow. Did you like throw an extra 10 in there? Like, go get something nice for yourself.
No.
Pay your light bill this month.
Oh my god.
Go get yourself a gallon of milk. I don't know how much a gallon of milk costs, but I assume $10 will cover it.
You feel good? You got it all out?
I might have more later.
Explain the farmhouse in the back.
It's the sanctuary. It's the animal sanctuary they went to.
Oh. I forgot about that.
I was inspired. I was like you with the poor culture. I was like, that seems neat. Let me go do something I've never done. So, I'm here. I'm here in the animal sanctuary visiting the three-legged animals. I'm here. There's goat snipping at my fingers.
You're enjoying it so much, we could just leave you there.
Yeah, just leave him there. He'd be happy. I honestly believe that about Austin, by the way. He's just like Austin's like this happy puppy that you could probably just leave and he'd have fun chasing around all the animals.
Yeah. So let's talk about where are they now? Where were they in January of 2024?
Right. Where were they 3 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we start out, and of course, this is one of those really chopped up scenarios. So it's going to be doing like half and half. We're not going to be doing switching the back and forth segments because there's so many segments that last like a minute or so. It would be
a lot
dizzying.
Were unnecessary.
A whole lot. I would say probably about 75% of this.
This episode could have been an hour, and that still would have been pushing it.
Definitely. So we open up with Claire and Lauren. They're meeting up at Lauren's place for a little martini time, aka teeny time. They do some catching up. We find out that Claire has a new job working with adolescents, at-risk youths apparently, and she's in a newfound brightness. Now, I just don't know how to feel about Claire working with our youths of today. It feels like she could relate with some boy trouble. I don't know.
That people are so different at work. She could be the perfect person, and it's just like work. It's like severance. Work and personal are separate. It has no effect on her work life.
I was confused for a moment. Severance is a TV show about the people getting split from their work and their job consciousness, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like their outside of work self doesn't know what's going on at work and vice versa. Yeah,
but I feel like if Claire was, I feel like some of the work Claire would rub off on the personal life Claire if Claire was a great, therapist.
That you would think, but it's like do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. Like she has the knowledge to transfer, but it's to apply it is different. So that I don't want to knock Claire as a therapist. I feel like she could be great. I don't think it's any reflection on how she lives her life. is not necessarily a reflection on how she will do at her job.
Hey,
Because
I'm
look,
down with that.
some people, like, sometimes you can't even imagine some of your friends at work. Like, you handle people's accounting, you know?
Maybe I don't know. Who am I to say? Who am I to say? I don't know. I don't know Claire like that. I don't know Claire at all, really. We also find out that Claire, we know that Claire was quote unquote seeing someone at the reunion time, but we found out that now he is officially a fully fledged boyfriend. He, of course,
Ooh.
lives in Seattle, so he can't meet him. It's like, yeah, my girlfriend in Canada, you can't see her because she's like camera shy, but she's definitely real and she definitely like totally exists. You just can't talk to her because she doesn't like to be on, just like talk on the phone a lot. She doesn't have her camera is broken
Her
on her
camera's
phone.
broken, yeah.
Yeah, so she's not. You can't really talk to her, but yeah, just trust me. It's long distance. She's definitely real.
I wish she
She's
would
like,
have touched on how they met. Maybe they
mhm.
flash up a pic or something. Blur out his face.
Has he seen any of the show?
Right. Because
I feel
yeah,
like Claire. I feel like Claire should go to his house, do whatever she has to do to delete Lifetime off this man's programming, block the channel, parental controls on it, the password only so he cannot access Lifetime.
yeah, that would feel weird from Claire's perspective to see how everything. I mean, she probably, like, she's telling him it's all fake. Everything that
Yeah,
was with Cameron was fake.
it's all
So
scripted.
yeah.
So yeah, Lauren's like, yeah, I met him. He's a good man. Lauren's like, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about because I have a good judge of character. I said, Lauren, you also really liked Onion when you first met him. So let's not forget about that, okay?
Everyone has I was supposed to say butterfly. No, what is it? Rose-colored glasses on at the beginning.
Oh my gosh. But yes, Lauren approves of Claire's new man. They talk. Lauren says she has not talked to Liar since the reunion. I said, oh, okay. The ladies are making up their own nicknames. We have our name for Onion. They're making up their own nickname. She has not talked to him since the reunion. She's sick of all his rhetoric. She realizes she doesn't have the capacity to sustain the burden of trying for a friendship with him. He isn't even a thought to her anymore. He's just a blip. She says, Lauren says, these men that we got stuck with, they just weren't there they weren't there for a marriage. They weren't there for partners. And Lauren says she took a big lesson out of this. She's taking leaps of faith and love, and it makes her open to the possibilities. That's what she's learned of this. She has to be more open. Again, we asked if Lauren is seeing anyone, and again, she's kind of coy. She's like, maybe, I don't know. It's like, why don't you?
I'm happy.
Why don't you just stop beating around the bush? Let's tell us if you are, if you are. All right, all right.
Take the Jasmine approach.
Mm-hmm.
Just
we make
have
him in a
him on the
silhouette.
show.
Change his voice.
Right.
Yeah. We then follow Michael, who's getting himself a new tattoo. He's meeting up with his tattoo artist. His name is Stoke. I'm like, okay, all right, Stoke.
I didn't even catch that.
We find out that Michael is getting a tattoo of an angel weeping, and it's supposed to be a symbol of unexpected death. It's supposed to symbolize that for his dad and his uncle. And he's like, you see an angel crying, and that really inspires you to say, you don't know what everybody else is going through. You wouldn't think an angel would be crying, but you don't know what those others are going through. So, okay, what did you think of the tattoo?
I mean, it was fitting to everything else he had going on. It wasn't like that tattoo doesn't match your aesthetic. And it doesn't surprise me that he had this deep meaning for that for a tattoo. It's funny seeing the comparison. He has this whole like symbolic, and intricate tattoo. And then we see tattoos later.
Yeah. Big tattoo
know?
episode.
Yeah.
Tattoos on the back are interesting. I was thinking about the tattoo. I was like, when I want to get a tattoo that I would probably never see, unless it's in a
Mhm.
picture, like would I get a tattoo on my back? I'll never be able to see it. It'd be different than getting a tattoo on, someplace you can see in the mirror, but I can't really even see my back
Yeah.
in the mirror. It's interesting.
See, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, it's hard to say because I don't have any tattoos.
Mhm.
Um, do you have any tattoos?
Oh, I'm all tatted under. I'm only not tatted in the places you can't see. Like in places you can see, I'll say. So under this shirt, nothing but tattoos.
Oh, okay. Just
Are you doubting me? You don't believe me?
I feel like it would have come up by now.
Maybe you don't ask the right questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have their reasons for their tattoos. And like that's one thing. And then the placement, that's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, that isn't I never thought about that. Like tattoos, you just can't see yourself.
Yeah, like where do I get the enjoyment out of it? I'm not gonna be able to see. I'm not gonna be able to see that thing.
When people take pictures of his back.
Which is when. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
it's interesting. But yeah, I guess I can see the argument for it, but is what it is. It's just
Like
my
maybe
thoughts
he's
on
working on a
tat.
whole back piece. Because it looks like it's still work. Because he still had like blank spots on his back, so it seems like it's
Yeah,
a work in progress.
could be. Much like a bartender, Michael, pours out his troubles to his tattoo artist.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, went to the reunion. Things got a little tense. We hadn't seen each other, in a while before then. She was feeling a type of way, but I did try and take accountability for my part in the divorce. He talks about how caring she is, and it's so hard for her to express herself. So he appreciates her opening up in the reunion. He says he's not really dating right now. If it happens, it happens. He's learned to pay more attention to what he says and what he does, and try not to set the wrong tone for when he does, go back out into the dating pool.
And not say innocuous things.
Yeah, that's say innocuous. I'm like, you didn't really say much that was that out of pocket for you to be quote unquote learning this lesson.
I think the main thing is that he didn't is what it's not what he did say, it's what he didn't say.
Yeah,
Because he
he
wasn't
wasn't clear.
upfront about
Yeah.
not in being in a place where he was gonna say no.
Yeah, in a confessional, he says he thought he was equipped to be a great husband, but he now knows he has some blind spots that he really needs to work on. He does feel that he is a better person having gone through this with Chloe. He wants to be friends with her, but he's not sure if it's actually sustainable with them being exes and all. But he really does want to be in each other's lives. We finish it up with he gets a nice picture of his back tattoo so he can see it because again, you can't see your own back, people, most of the time unless you get a picture of it. We then get Chloe meeting up with my boy, Cesar, number one Cesar, big C is what I call him. They're at a restaurant
He was
having
all up
drinks.
in this episode.
He was a big part. This was so interesting. Just take a little tangent. This was like the Chloe and Michael. This is the Chloe and Michael show. Basically, there was so many segments with them in it, and of course we had the pink ladies, and then boy, Brennan and Cameron really, really was just like,
Phoned it in.
we're going to do the minimum effort that we have to do to get a paycheck from Lifetime for saying that we participate in this thing. That is all you're getting out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we can only come on if we can say our piece, say our side of the story, and just be done.
And those other girls are not there.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Chloe and Cesar meet up, having drinks. Chloe says, for her, the reunion was very cathartic for her and for Michael. She's grateful for Mike, and she's formed a great friendship with all the men, actually. They really pulled her, under their wings when the women shut her out. Cesar says, yeah, I noticed that. There's kind of like a sorority of women, and you were just kind of excluded from them. Chloe says, yeah, well, let me tell you something about the reunion. She goes, I was really waiting for Jerry Springer to rise up out of the grave. She said she was actually pretty embarrassed about the whole thing. I was like, yeah, it was pretty much Jerry Springer levels at certain points. I don't blame Chloe. And you could tell the look on her face at the reunion. She's just like, why am I glommed into this group of nonsense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was shocked and appalled by everything happening.
Cesar then brings up all the, online comments talking about Chloe was, stealing the other ladies' husbands. Chloe says, that's crazy. That's preposterous. They're painting her out to be some harlot or something. She says, it says more about the people that are actually putting this nonsense out there, which I didn't clock when she first said it, that she was talking about the other wives, but the producer
Me neither.
and a confession was like, are you talking about the other ladies in terms of who's putting this out there? She's like, yep. It's the wives. She says she is not going to engage. She can be friends with everyone, men included. And if that threatens the other wives, that is not her problem. She says there's no smoke or no fire to these rumors, so it's all nonsense. Cesar brings up Lauren being interested in Mike possibly. Chloe says, yeah, that's the thing. Lauren and Michael were both kind of had bad experiences very early on. So the fans really just kind of put them together, through those circumstances. And that apparently inspired Lauren to investigate the possibility. Chloe says,
and she investigated.
yeah, she really investigated. Chloe wishes her the best, but don't forget where Mike's loyalty lies. And again, I'm just like, where's the rest of the story? I need to know because apparently Lauren, shot her shot and, maybe got, rebuffed. So it sounds like, she asked Mike out. Maybe Mike was like, yeah, I don't think so. Then Mike goes run to Chloe, like, guess what? Lauren just asked me out. Like, I would love to know more of what actually happened here.
Yeah, I also feel like it could have been, because I got the vibe from later when we see them interact, that it could have been the other way around. That Michael was interested in, like, oh, let's just like hang out, see what happens. And then she's like, I don't know about that. But I also, like, all that aside, I feel like Chloe's feelings about it is just like it feels like especially when she said where Michael's loyalty lies, she's still laying claim on him. And that is not her husband. And I feel like Michael is such a nice guy. Like, we see him gift her a sweater later, one of his sweaters. And he's just a nice guy to where it's like, she's like, I don't even consider us divorcees. And I feel like that's going to get her into some trouble when he inevitably moves on. Because she wasn't the one who'd wanted to end it. He did. So, or like to say no on decision day. I don't know. I'm just getting vibes that she's just not done.
Interesting. Yeah. I think she says she is, but the looks that she's given Michael is just like, you definitely still still want a little bit of Michael, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So our next segment is with Michael, Austin, and Onion are all meeting up in kind of this like cigar bar type of joint. Mike says he comes here about once a week. He says, I feel bad that I wasn't able to hang out with all the guys throughout the process. He missed out on all the group stuff. And maybe once you watch the season back, Michael, you maybe will be a little more thankful that you missed out on all the group stuff, because especially near the end.
Right.
So
they've only seen like what up to January, which I don't know. January was like that was episode 11-ish.
Things are still a little civil. I think probably was just at the 1 month, maybe right before Cameron and Claire broke it off. They were still all
Emily
faking.
and Brennan were making pizza. It was their it was the 1 month anniversaries for all of them.
Yeah, they were also all faking being nice. So, that was maybe things weren't as toxic as they got. So Onion, invites them all to a Reiki healing session. It's also doubles as a cacao moon ceremony. Apparently, this is a ceremony for healing. And he says, we really want to get stuff out of get all this baggage we're carrying around out of us from all the process, and get rid of all this baggage we're carrying. Onion then asks the two of them how they're feeling, after the reunion. Austin says he feels like him and Becca came out of it better than they went into it, but he says, Becca did say she doesn't want to talk to me for a couple of years, but he does hope that they can be in each other's lives at some capacity, before a couple of years. Michael tries to pep Austin. He's like, listen, you had good intentions the whole time. Your mentality was always about making things good for the other people in the process. I was like, not exactly. Not exactly, Michael. I feel like some of Michael's takes, some of the takes from both Michael and Chloe in this were just like, you haven't seen everything yet. So I'm gonna, maybe you don't know the extent. Well, I mean, they were there for the party where Austin admitted to lying to Becca about the producer. Like, you saw some of it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you really know what you're talking about there, Mike and Chloe.
Yeah, I feel like it's not maybe it is them trying to be optimistic, but it's just like let's be real. There's no
Yeah.
upside to this.
For sure. Yeah. Onion talks about the fact that, when the shows first started airing, Lauren was actually, sending him, positive messages about their experience, and it made him think that they could possibly have a friendship. He says he does feel like he did hurt her, and he really wanted to focus on trying to reconcile something since he was, getting some positivity from Lauren at that time. Michael says, yeah, but you're not, you don't have to be friends after breakup because, the things you guys went through might be a little tough to kind of have a friendship after that. Michael says the lesson he's taken out of this is trying to be a better person. We get back to Onion. He says he has taken out of this. He has to be more accountable. And the one regret he has is not moving in. He felt like he cut Lauren's experience short because he couldn't get out of his own head. I think it's interesting. He says he wants to be more. I don't feel like he's taking any real accountability for the stuff he did.
Exactly. When he was saying this, I was like, "See, you are acknowledging that you should have held yourself more accountable, but you are choosing to do that in future relationships. Like I could have done that here, but I'm not going to. I'm making an active effort not to, but I will try to do that in the future."
When I think about his accountability, all of his apologies have always it's like pulling teeth to get an apology out of Onion,
Yes.
and it all feels hollow, especially when he goes on, and he's done this several times before this episode, where he talks about the fact that what he learned is he has to stop generalizing his comments. Like, you just totally missed the point. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about at all. You said what you meant. There was no general statements. You said what you meant. It was just you
He's
said the
like, that
wrong.
takes sex off the table for me.
Yeah, there's
What
no
is she
generalizing that.
supposed to? Yeah.
You said what you meant.
I
You just
meant today.
you right, right. Like, you just said some ill-ish, and that was not a good thing to say because it's a crappy thing to say and do. That's the problem. It's not overgeneralizing. It's that you have these perspectives and points of view that are not the best. You maybe need to think about changing those things. That's what you need to be looking at, not
Right.
overgeneralizing. It's like, what are you even talking about, my guy?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, everything he says, I'm like, okay, it's wah, wah, wah. This, I can't take what you're saying seriously because you didn't apply what you're saying that you learned in
Yeah.
this situation.
Yeah. Onion says, he feels like if he had maybe approached things in a nicer way and had more understanding and context, and maybe he and Lauren could have got to a place where they're able to. He still wants to get to a place where they're able to talk. I'm like, no, stop. She says she doesn't want to talk to you. That's it. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it dead.
He's like, I
Basically,
still want us to be cordial.
yeah, it also basically tells them, listen, just don't hold your breath, man. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work out. Like, that he's taking note from Austin. Becca said she don't
Austin
want to talk
has
to him.
Austin
I'm
has
out.
resigned himself to the fact. Well, all right, well, I won't be talking to Becca for a couple of years, so
Yeah,
that's something future Austin will have to deal with. And
take a
so,
note, Onion. Take a note.
yeah,
But I don't think Onion really means what he's saying here. I don't think Onion really cares if he ever talks to Lauren again. He's, again, just saying this for the cameras.
they should say, all right, cut, and then now really say what you mean. We still have the cameras up.
Yeah,
We're
that
just
would be
testing something.
just put tape over the red light so they don't see it all.
Right.
Yeah, we're totally not shooting this. So we then meet up with Emily and Claire as they're getting together for sushi. Emily talks about, Claire, you're really the first one to see Brendan for who he really was. And she does this like imitation of Cameron Brendan's like, I've watched the show. I know all the ways. I know all the cheat codes to do what we have to do. I was like, oh my gosh, Emily, you have learned nothing. In a confessional, Emily says she hopes that people don't look at them as dwelling in the past and putting these men down, but Brendan did put her through hell. And she says, most people think I'm cute, except Brendan. again, you have to ask, how old are you, Emily? How old are you? Most people think I'm cute.
Telling you. I mean, and we do see it throughout this episode and all the girl segments. this is Emily reacting to her first breakup.
Yeah, and Lauren,
And we're just
calls
not
it out.
used to seeing this from like our peers, people our
30-year-old.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing that. So that's why it's like disorienting. But
Yeah,
that's what it is.
it is. Claire, for her part, says she's moving on. Now, I will give it to Claire. She was less vindictive in
Mm-hmm.
this episode than she had been like on the reunion. I think she realized she probably looked very petty at the reunion. She says she is moving on. She says, shout out to the men for being the worst, but they did bring us girls together, so that's one good thing they got out of this. Um, and Claire in the confessional says they all have a little residual anger. Emily especially, Emily still seems to be processing, aka Emily's still talking about it. Emily's still bitter. Emily is still
Yeah.
being petty. And I wish he'd stop. Emily talks about Claire's boyfriend. Says Emily also approves of this new man. She's happy that Claire is happy. Claire asks Emily, so what do you think about dating Emily? Emily says, I could have a boyfriend if I really wanted one. But this new and improved Emily is just not there yet. She wants to find out more about herself and get more of her life together. She says, I really learned from your experience, Claire. You attract what you put out. You look at you after this experience, you weren't even looking for it, and you got a man that you're in love with. She says, now she wants to attract what she puts out now that she is a new and improved, different person. I said, I don't see anything new or improved about what you're doing here, Emily. Besides the fact you say you want to be new and improved.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, she's seeing it. She's seeing it as being new and improved rather than just this is the next chapter in your life, because the last chapter you were married, now you're single, so now life's gonna look different. Just because your circumstances have changed doesn't mean you've changed. Yeah. I think she's getting that a little confused.
For sure. We do get a Chloe and Michael FaceTime. Chloe is FaceTiming Michael. She's we also see her hanging out with her furry buddies. Theodore is still alive. He's the one-eyed dog. Is that his name? Theodore? Yeah, he's still alive, still kicking. She FaceTimes Michael and they banter a little bit. Honestly, when I see Chloe in these moments, these are the moments it just feels a little forced to me. she's like, oh my gosh, your lighting is so great. And like, oh, like it just feels a little much to me at these moments.
Yeah, because I felt, yes, because he was like, oh, look how lucky I am. She's like, yes, look how lucky you are.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like it just highlights their interaction, which is so, I know they said they got deep when they were married, but it's just so friendly surface level.
Yeah.
That it's like he could have that banter with anyone.
Right.
But I think, but it's like,
it feels like acquaintance banter rather than married couple. We were just married banter.
Right. Because I'm like, Chloe, would you see yourself doing that with Cameron? No. Right.
Yeah.
But we see Michael doing it with Lauren. Like we see Michael, he could do, like, that's just his personality compared to hers. Like, I think she's still healing from that divorce.
Yeah, 100%. So Chloe basically says, listen, I'm putting together a volunteer group to go down to Broken Shovel Sanctuary. This is the sanctuary where she and Michael went before to visit the animals, where she dropped the bomb on him about wanting to start up her own animal sanctuary and wanting 5 foster kids at a time. Yes. She says she's inviting Michael and the other husbands along. Michael's excited about it. He says, yeah, I'm gonna try to wrangle the guys and we'll see you down there. They talk about water buffaloes and water buffaloes procreating. It's like, yeah, you wanted a bunch of water buffaloes. You wanted 2. And they turned to 6. It's like, okay, let's move on.
She's like, whoa.
Silly. So then we get, there were so many random like meetups. It's like, well, how did you decide to get this group together? Because Michael, Lauren, and Claire meet up. Michael, he meets up with him. He says, I'm offering myself as an olive branch of peace because, I get along with the men and the women. So I'm kind of the between the two sides. He says, I want them to know that we can all coexist, even though we've all been through some tough things. Michael shows off his new tattoo to the ladies. When this is where we find out that Claire and all the girls talk about possibly getting matching tattoos. Michael is Santa Claus this episode because he's bringing so many things to so many people because he brought Lauren an earring that Lauren mentioned that she liked on one of his after parties. He's like,
I'm Chloe when I'm rewatching this back.
Yeah.
So Chloe was mad.
You just giving gifts to everybody, huh? Like you just out here doling out.
You're just the new age Santa Claus, huh?
You was out here giving away all your clothing, all your accessories. Okay, I see you.
And he brought it because she told him on after party she liked them, and so he brought them for her. He's so thoughtful.
In a confessional, Claire is talking about how flirtatious both Lauren and Mike are in this moment. Michael asked Claire about her new boyfriend. This is the third time that we have to hear about Claire's boyfriend. Like, I get it. She has a boyfriend now. We understand. We are aware.
Don't bring him up no more if y'all not going to show him.
Right. Like, we couldn't get a FaceTime. We couldn't get a nothing. Talk turns to Michael and Lauren's like, everyone was kind of willing this thing to happen, willing the Lauren and the Michael, pairing to happen. He says, they talk about their friends and family both saying that, they should have been matched with each other. Lauren says, yeah, that's what everybody out there wanted, but they weren't even thinking about what we want, like if we would be good for each other. Meanwhile, Lauren in the back of her head is like, I would like to be with you though. I would like to see you. Real talk though. I'm down for it if you down for it. I'm with it.
Not even like, wouldn't that be wild if we wanted it too?
I'm with it if you with it. That's what she's thinking in the back of her mind. Lauren, Lauren's family was also, like, why couldn't this be your guy? Her dad does get mentioned. I forgot that her dad was totally against this when this whole thing first started. That was an interesting little callback.
Yeah.
Michael, says, because we were both had such bad starts to the process, everybody was just kind of putting us together, but they weren't thinking about what we wanted. In a confessional, Michael says, Lauren's great, but in terms of compatibility, I just don't know. He says, but game recognizes game. Like, what's it even mean?
Yeah, I was like, the game recognizes game threw me off because I was like, I thought I was getting what you were saying until you said that.
That's a Michael staple right there. Like, what are you saying?
Because you could interpret that as she's flirting with me, so I'm flirting with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like,
so it really will still make me think that, I think Lauren may have shot her shot, and Michael's just like, I just don't see it.
I don't know. Well, because obviously, because it makes sense. It doesn't make sense any other reason why Chloe, but I also could just see Chloe because she still is seeing Michael as, she may not be consciously seeing him as her husband. She knows that they decided not to stay together, but it's still like, in this setting, it's me and Michael.
Yeah. Like, you don't touch my man, even though he's not my man anymore.
Yeah.
I think for Chloe, it would probably feel a little like incestuous in a way, because there's in such a group here. Like, it would just be weird, I think, for Chloe.
Well, yeah, because she's because she's not like Gina, where Gina's like, okay, or I guess not like Clint, because Clint did not care.
Yeah, because like, I don't want it, you take her, go ahead.
Right. Or like Dom did not care one bit. So about Mac and Gina going on a date, but Chloe, I think Chloe does like have a certain feeling about the fact that they are the only ones with a good relationship. She's like, everybody else is on their own island, but the one thing me and Michael have is that we still have a great relationship, which I think that may be the hardest part about moving on.
Yeah,
on her end.
We then see Becca for the first time. This is almost an hour in. I'm like, oh, this is the first time we're seeing Becca, right? And it got me thinking, like, I haven't seen Cameron, I haven't seen Brennan, I've seen a lot of Claire, I've seen a lot of Lauren, I've seen a lot of Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we get Becca to meet up with her friend Lindsay. They meet up. Lindsay asks how Becca's feeling. Becca says, there's still so many unanswered questions. This really brought out a version of herself that she had never seen before. And Lindsay says, well, I mean, when you're questioning your own reality, you get kind of combative. But she says you can take this as an opportunity to use this for growth and getting to know yourself better, and to learn to give yourself more grace in the future. In a confessional, Becca to say, she's hoping for a life partner, but she got a life lesson instead. So she,
Take what you can get.
yeah, I mean, listen, look for the positive in this experience, right? Look, just grasp for any straw you can.
Yeah.
She talks to Lindsay about weirdly feeling that she let all the viewers and people at home down. And she knows people are watching at home saying all these things that Becca could have done differently, and they are frustrated with her and when Austin says, yeah, I felt that tenfold actually living it. Lindsay says, it was felt so perfect on the wedding day, but time kind of revealed that Austin was not your match on an emotional level. He just wasn't mature enough to get through this marriage.
That was a nice
Lindsay,
way to put it.
that really was. She really kind of succinctly made what the point was, and just it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
No sparring what these details were. That was it.
So we don't have to go back down that line. Y'all had religion, y'all had
Yeah,
intimacy,
trust, all this stuff.
Then the lies at the end.
It's like, girl, he just wasn't for you. Okay,
Right.
That's it. Lindsay asked a question that we're going to be asked several times through this whole special. So, Becca, what about you and dating? How's that going to go?
Why is everyone forced to move on so fast? Why can the people just not be single? Like, I wish that. I mean, it's just the reality.
I feel like this is getting personal. It's getting a little personal.
I'm just saying.
Why does everyone expect everyone else to move on so fast? Why is that?
That's our society. When people start dating, oh, when are you getting married? When you get married, oh, when you're gonna start having kids? Oh, when you have a kid, when you're gonna have another kid? Let's slow down.
Yeah, Mama Welch. Stop pressing Asia. Okay. Stop pressing her on when she's gonna get married. It'll happen when it happens, Mama Welch. It'll happen when it happens.
She knows her grandkids are right here, Pepper and Cinnamon. And she understands that's where her grandma duties are right now. And that's where they're gonna be for a little bit.
Stop pressing, Mama Welch. Stop pressing. It'll happen when it happens. Becca says, she with her next partner, she hopes that she can find someone that has really explored the darkest parts of themselves. Okay, whatever that means.
She said that, I was like, goodness.
Yeah. As she wants someone that is emotionally intelligent enough to be able to verbalize their feelings out loud and not keep them in, like Austin did. Basically, we should have put that on the end of that. She wants, if her partner has a dishonest moment, Becca wants to be able to give them forgiveness, and she knows that she needs to show up differently and give her partner all the things that she says she wants out of a partner.
She said if they're sad, she wants them to be able to know why they're sad and be able to explain why they're sad, and then want to talk about it.
Yeah, I want them to know why they don't want to have sex, and I want them to explain it to me very succinctly and what the actual problem is, and give me a timeline. Austin. Lindsay does, try to pepper up, says, you're going to be an amazing partner someday. Becca thanks for her being there for her and does assure her that you will need to be there for me several more times throughout this whole thing. Something that, like, it's amazing to me, the Becca from early season and the Becca late season.
Mm-hmm.
The Becca early season seemed so strong to me and so, like, no nonsense. This Becca we're getting at the very end is extremely vulnerable, extremely emotional. She, for me, really changed throughout the course of the season.
I do see that as well, because I think it was a reflection too of how little Becca we got in the girls get together too. I feel like of the 4 of the pink ladies, Becca was the most heartbroken from this
Yes,
situation.
definitely.
Emily aside, she had no
Emily,
reason to be
I
this
still think
sad. But
Emily. I think at the end of it, Emily wasn't heartbroken. She was just
yes,
pissed. She was
yes,
just mad.
exactly. Yeah, she felt played more
Yes.
so,
Mhm.
whereas Becca was truly heartbroken, and I feel like this relationship broke her in many ways.
And it's
Um,
lingered, definitely. It's
y-
it's still there. The
yeah, and
heartbreak. You
it's
can see it on
like
her face. The heartbreak is still there.
for sure, and she still has these moments where like we saw even up until the reunion of her thinking like still I feel like there's still a small part of her is still like, did I make the right decision?
Mhm.
Like, could I just be with a liar? Which is how she sees him now. Which is
Lying's not that bad, right? At least you know you're
I
dealing with a liar.
really wish. Oh, I wish he had never done the producer thing that night. Lied about going out with the producer. Because we can't then we wouldn't continue to have this excuse of that's why he's a liar. That's why we didn't work out. Because there were many other reasons we had
Yeah,
seen before that
there was a
point.
lot going on
And
before
then
the producer
even
thing.
I guess it was on after party when she mentioned him lying about vaping. Like
Yeah.
there were other little white lies that were building up where Becca was able to see like this man just doesn't offer up the truth a lot. But I feel like the producer situation, like it was so recent that they're making that such more so Austin than her. Cause even at the end, Austin was like, I wish I had never lied about that or that had never happened. And it's like, Austin, there were so many other things.
It's like that was his one big regret. We had so many other regrets that he should have had. I regret not being.
Prioritizing her, getting on the same page, finding a nice middle ground with intimacy, like having more conversations about that to see what works for both of you. Like, I feel like that gives him such an out. That
Mhm.
producer situation gives him such an out to be like, oh, that happened, and now I just have to learn from it.
I mean, his biggest regret should just be not being upfront in general, just about everything. Even before the
Hmm.
producer thing, he just wasn't being upfront, clear, and transparent with things that he wanted and things that were a big deal for him.
Why didn't you tell me that the NFL draft was happening tonight?
I, first of all, I didn't know that you needed to know. I didn't know that it was that important to you. And I had honestly forgotten about it today because I just got an alert on my phone
Same.
about who the Bears picked and everything like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was like, wait a second, we got to wrap this up. No, I'm kidding. I can
I honestly
look.
didn't know you were such a draftnik. I didn't know that you were such, you know, but
Look, I was the WNBA draft this year. I was seated front row.
who
If
was
I
it? Who all of a sudden WNBA has so many
I'm loving
fans
the
now.
attention.
Hey, it,
It is well
I'm
overdue.
happy for the
I
WNBA for
remember being a
really.
young little Asia with Cheryl Swoop's basketball shoes when I played basketball. Just one day, I want to be in the WNBA. And then I look up the salary and I said, well, guess I'm
I
going
was
to corporate
I was about
America.
to make that joke, and you made it before I could.
It's reality.
Yeah.
Because literally when I graduated college was like the same time Brittany Griner was graduating college. And so I'm
Mhm.
thinking like, okay, if I had stayed in basketball and I continued that path, Brittany Griner should be like making way more than I ever would have made just coming in as
Mhm.
like a guard. Just a regular schmegular guard. Brittany Griner who can dunk. Our salaries were pretty close. So
I mean,
it's just
you make what Brittany Griner makes in a season in a week. Like,
it was
I
just
think you made the right choice.
I'm just like all that to say, I'm very proud and glad that the world is finally seeing that women can play basketball too. And it's finally getting more views because I loved this season of women's college basketball. Cannot wait to watch the Wings play the Fever. What is it next Friday? So I'm over the moon about it.
I feel like you just made up those team names.
The
The
Dallas
Wings
Wings and the
and
Atlanta
the
Fever.
Fever and I can't wait to see the Bats play the giraffes as well next season. You can tell
Look.
me those are team names, and I'd probably believe you.
I'm just saying, if you get bored by the NBA, there are WNBA games going on this summer when the NBA
Tickets
players are
are readily
done.
available and cheap.
No, there are many multiple WNBA teams season tickets have already sold out. Like for the first time
on
ever.
teams that don't have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on them.
Yes, the Dallas Wings. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I believe you.
Look, we're not here to talk. We're not here. This isn't a women's sports podcast.
It's
but
not.
I will
I'm
bring
doing
it
that.
up.
We're doing that tomorrow. I forgot about. I mixed up our schedule. That's
Listen,
tomorrow's podcast.
we are bringing women's sports to RHAP. Okay, and that's for another day. I'll save it. But I have a lot more to say.
Look up Asia like Asia for all the hot WNBA takes.
I can't believe you right now. Wow. Okay.
What? You can't believe what? What did I do?
You don't even know names of teams.
I mean, listen, I don't know most of the NBA team names. Basketball just isn't my thing. Like, this is not my.
Then just say that.
I kind of did. Whatever. Let's get back to the way more interesting topic of the guys and their Reiki session. Okay.
Excuse me.
Back to the show that we're supposed to be talking about. Okay.
Look, the NFL interrupted us with the notification. Okay, that's what happened.
100%. Yes, Austin, Onion, and Michael all attend their Reiki moon ceremony, cacao ingesting session, whatever you want to call it. Onion says, they're still carrying a lot of baggage from the union. He hopes this helps them cleanse them of all that baggage. They enter for their session. In a confessional, Onion does say he hopes this is a positive step towards growth. We meet the what would you call this person? The healer. Is this what you call this person? The healer, Sarah?
She was a spiritual life coach.
Guide, spiritual life coach. Wow.
Yes.
That's not a career I'd ever seen a career day. But Sarah
wow.
I'm just saying.
Sarah is making a living.
I question Sarah's like authenticity in this. Like, Sarah's one of those hippie people that's like that are so in tune with Mother Nature. Then there's a granola cruncher, but she does explain everything. She says, "Listen, the full moon. We use a full moon to tap into the natural cycles. The full moon calls to us to let go of what is not serving us." She walks them through the cacao rituals and says cacao has been used for centuries by indigenous people as medicine for healing and for wisdom. She says this cacao is special because it was hand prepared by women in Guatemala. I saw a flashback of her like pouring Hershey's cocoa powder into a thing. Yeah, mixing it up, just putting it in a little thermos. Yes, this will good. This will be good. But they take their cacao. They have to speak their intentions into the cacao. Onion says his intention is to be kind to himself. I feel like Onion's been pretty kind to himself this whole time.
He's been the kindest to himself.
Yeah, it's being kind to other people. I think you got to get down first, Onion.
He wants us so badly to believe that he's been beating himself up about this Lauren situation.
100%. He don't care.
It's like,
he
look,
doesn't give
when I'm not here, I'm so mad at myself for not giving us a chance.
I was just flogging myself, thinking about how I let Lauren down. Oh man, how I let Lauren down, let the experts down. Inside, he's like, I'm happy I just got out by week 2, and I didn't have to do what all these other losers did.
He's like, I just really beat myself up about it so much so that I can't even physically reach out to Lauren to talk to her off camera. I just can't bring myself to do it because I'm just so sad myself.
Yeah, I just need other people around, like cameramen, audio people, for me to actually feel like it's a safe space for me to talk to Lauren. Austin says his intention is to continue to build on personal development. Michael's is to be motivated by joy. They all sip their cacao. And then Sarah has them all lay down for a meditation with You guessed it, folks. Sound healing with a sound bath. I was like, all right. I was
What are we,
worried.
17 for 17 with sound
I
baths?
was so worried that we were going to go a whole season without getting a sound bath. They slipped in at the very end. I was like, phew, that was close. That was a close one. Uh, Sarah
I'm
plays.
surprised they didn't do the sounds. They did just some like music on top, but usually
Yeah.
we get the sound bath, not the actual one, but they put sound bath sounds. We
Yeah.
didn't get that.
We did see her do the little cylinder against the bowl thing
Yes.
over everyone's body. She uses some kind of crystal. She puts her hands on over them and like I guess like takes the douchebaggery out of them, like levitates it out of their body and just kind of moving it around and out of their body. She's not touching, she's hovering her hands over them. Maybe she's coaxed the doucheness out of them and just moving it away. Moving it away. I was like, what is this? And then we get real up close and personal. She then starts giving, well, we only saw it really with Onion. She starts
Yeah.
giving Onion this scalp massage. I'm like, what are we going into here? Like,
Yeah,
what
you
is this
buried the
turning into?
lead. He cut his hair.
Oh, that's right. Onion has got a haircut now. Speaking of haircuts, Michael also, he was in this weird period, right? Because we saw him with his Prince like haircut where he's like having to scrunch up his little tuft of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Then reunion, he had it cut down like really short, looking weird. Now
The
I think we got
after
it.
party, he was pink.
Yeah, now I think we got it to a pretty good length, right? Where it's like it's a good spot. He's in a good spot with his hair right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it really reminded me of Steve from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
The way he looked, and also the way he sound like you close your eyes, like is that Steve from Boston?
Yeah.
He just sounded like
Steve,
him.
Steve is deep too.
Yeah, Steve is a fake
I,
deep
I
as
like
well.
Steve too. So
Steve is also a fake deep, just like
I think I
Michael.
have a type.
Yeah, we both fake deep.
Steve and Michael.
Steve and Mike. Yes, Onion also got a haircut, and I will say I was not a big fan. It's like, what did you do here, buddy?
I liked it better than his long hair.
I guess.
I
But
mean,
yes,
for
hey, Sarah, she's giving them the whole treatment. She's doing the scalp massage. She's then like I
He
don't know.
said he instantly felt better.
I said, what was this? What did this massage? What did we see in that video footage?
Oh my god.
He says, yeah, that really released all my tension. It's like, okay. Because she did a little scalp thing and then she put her hands on them in certain places. And I guess this is also supposed to release whatever. I said, okay. Onion says it worked for him. Sarah then sits with them some more, says, okay, so this will make space for what you were carrying, and now you have released what's not working for you. Well, now what are you going to fill that space with? Michael says, they all went to this to find someone to share their lives with. That didn't work out too well, but Michael himself is going to focus on finding that person to be with. That's what he's going to do. Sarah then asks, what would you tell your past selves about this whole experience? Onion says, first of all, I'd say don't do it. But then he says, I would also tell him to keep an open mind and open heart, and what is for you will come to you.
You know who also said something similar to that? Chloe. Maybe they should have been a match.
Hey, we're just grasping at straws to make matches, so why the heck not? Austin says, there's more he can do to cater to his partner's needs and desires, and he wants to take this opportunity to release all the emotional trauma. In confessional, Austin says what he would change, because he didn't actually answer the question in the moment.
Yeah.
He says what he would change is going out with a producer and lying about it to Becca. I said, okay, there's a lot more you could do that probably would have even stopped that situation if you had changed something beforehand, but okay, sure. Change that one thing.
Prioritizing your wife. You wouldn't have even gone in the first place if you were prioritizing her.
Right.
You would be celebrating saying yes on decision day.
Yeah. Sarah asks, so what are you guys going to do moving forward? Onion says he's going to be more clear in an effort not to be vague about his intentions. He thought he had good communication skills, but apparently not. Yeah, no duh. Yeah, that was the Reiki healing session. It was like, okay, again, another segment that probably just could have been thrown on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. But they needed to drag this out for 2 hours. I remember pausing and saying, "Oh, we have an hour left."
Mm,
Got it.
mm.
So this trip that Chloe planned to Broken Shovels is happening. So everyone's showing up one by one. We got Cesar's there. We got Chloe. We got Michael shows up with his overalls that have like they're like stylish overalls, but they have like holes all over them.
There's overalls that cost probably like $1,000,
Right? Yeah.
and barely had any material because there were holes all over them. Like, what is
Yeah.
this?
Brennan's there. Cameron shows up. So Chloe and the guys. And so Cameron, when he shows up, he's like, "Up, I'm sick, so I'm not gonna hug you guys." This man said, "This is the one scene I'm doing for this Where Are They Now special, and that's it. And I'm sick, so look,
Let
this
me
is the
get through
best
this the
I can
best
do
I
for
can.
you." Yeah.
Let me get. I like. Didn't he? I mean, he was in like one scene. I feel like they were there for an hour, and they're like, "All right, well, I'm out. See y'all later."
Yeah. Because they're like, "Okay, if you don't come today, Cameron, we need you to do a scene with Claire." He's like, "Oh, okay. I'll come."
Let me take some Flonase, and I'll be right there.
Right. And so Chloe says she comes here a lot. We get a confessional from Michael where he's like, all the guys have just gravitated towards Chloe. He's like, "I'm sure the guys are going to continue to give me mess for going forward with the divorce." He's saying it, and he says this a couple times this episode, where all the guys love Chloe so much. They're like, "Michael, how could you divorce her?" But they're not seeing her in a romantic sense. They're just seeing her as like
Chloe doesn't
one of the
hassle us.
guys.
We like Chloe. She's not mad at us.
Right,
She's
exactly.
easygoing. She doesn't call us to the carpet about our stuff.
Right. She doesn't
She just
hold us
act
accountable.
she just acts like it didn't happen. We like that about
Right.
her.
Yeah. Austin showed up late while they were already like doing stuff. We catch up with Brennan. He says, like, Brennan and Cameron and Chloe. So Brennan says that he's been traveling and spending time with his girlfriend, and Chloe's like, "Ooh, girlfriend." And I'm like, if y'all
Didn't you
are
know that?
already, you should know that already. If y'all hang out so much. He's like, so Brennan's really excited how things are going, so stay tuned. I was like, okay.
I will not be staying tuned to this show. I don't care what Brennan does in his life anymore.
And so then Cameron, he's going to Puerto Rico. He said he's really interested in what?
Cameron's so weird. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Puerto Rico to investigate living there because you get a bunch of tax incentives." Like, I didn't need to know all this. Like, you could have said you were traveling, you were good. Cameron just seems like, I don't know what Cameron's deal is. Cameron's like a hustler or something. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah. Cameron then asked Chloe, he said, "Could you see the other wives out here in the pig pen?" She was
said, "Oh, that's a low blow. That was
right.
That was a low blow."
Yes. So totally uncalled for. Chloe says she couldn't, first of all, and she hasn't spoken to the women since the reunion, and they've all gone, well, her and the women have gone their separate ways. She said her life improved immensely when she removed herself from the women. And Brendan and Cameron are like, yeah, like shaking their head, like, yeah, that's great that you did that you removed yourself. And Cameron's like, the energy that ex-wives put out, like in online comments, like the energy that they put in those online comments, like that shows that they never had good intentions in the first place. And Chloe's like, yeah, there's two accounts on Facebook, and I know one of them is one of their burner accounts. And it, like, that's just mean girl behavior. Like, if you haven't grown out of mean girl behavior at this age, then you're not ready for marriage. And Brennan pretty much says that with her in sync. Like, you're not ready for marriage if you're a mean girl.
Yeah. Even Cameron's like, they're so worried about the optics. I was like, that's not your word. That's their word for you. You can't use that word.
He said, I'm gonna flip it.
The needle has gone to the whole other side. Now the men are just like, we did nothing wrong. No, no, no. You definitely did wrong stuff. You should know it, and Chloe should
That's
know it.
the problem when you approach these things as a group, then you start trying to generalize rather than you can say so many things about Brennan. You can say so many things about Cameron. You can say so many things about Austin. And like, but when you group it together, you're like, they're evil. They're like, no, we're not evil. We've done nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked themselves up into such a frenzy that they have totally ditched their accountability in this. Like they now have taken no accountability, they've taken no blame, and now the women have done all the wrong, and they are totally innocent in this. And it's crazy how, like you said, how groupthink they get and how like crazy they get.
Yes.
Honestly, I want to know why Chloe thinks that this is one of their burner accounts.
That's
How
what I'm
she
saying.
figured
Where's
this
your
out.
proof?
Right. You're just saying stuff to say stuff. Honestly, I would not be surprised if Cameron is behind one of these burner accounts.
To make her think it's one of the
and then
women.
he set up evidence to make Chloe think that it's Emily or Claire. Like have you seen this? It looks like they're talking about you. I know for a fact this is Emily's burner account. They're talking about you, Claire.
You sound more country.
You, Chloe. It's a like Australian country. I tried, y'all. I tried.
The people have been missing it.
They have, and I'm rusty. Luckily, this is the only Cameron segment because he dips out after this to never be seen again.
Exactly. Chloe said that the women just don't exist in her world anymore, and they've just shown themselves to be toxic individuals. And they give us this flashback of like the women talking to the men when they were like, don't even look at us, don't look at me like that at the reunion.
It's almost like Chloe came in just for this reunion and she hadn't seen anything else. She didn't know anything else about the men. Like she only saw this reunion. She only came in this reunion where the ladies were terrible to the men, and the men were just like,
"Whoa,
what did we do?"
I'm just gonna go over here then. She says she would rather just be with the husbands, and she just can't roll her eyes enough at the psychosis. This felt so. This was giving. I'm such a guy's girl. It was just. I just feel like I know it's obvious, but I really don't mean to side so much with Michael and the Chloe and Michael of it all. But I feel like Michael's approach is the approach. He's in the middle. Like he's not bad mouthing the women and he's not bad mouthing the men. He's able to mix and mingle both sides. That's the middle party. How has she made herself to be like, they're so toxic and I preferred the way that y'all were acting at the reunion. So now I can't stand them and they've been attacking me. I just found it so odd. We didn't even get a segment of the women talking about, like, we only got Lauren, but we didn't get this suspicion that Chloe has that it's, Emily or Claire or the women she just kept saying, which I can't imagine it would be Lauren having a burner account to attack Chloe. So it was weird. We didn't get that perspective of just like, even if it was something to try to clear their names, which I don't know.
There were so many things that were revealed here that we never got follow up on, and this is definitely one of them. Or just we mentioned the burner account and we don't have any other follow up to that. For me with Chloe, it's just about turning a blind eye to what these guys did. Whereas my fault is coming in with Chloe because she's now acting like, I think she even says to someone, these men are all fantastic men. Like, no, you are selecting what you want to see, what you are choosing to know
married
about.
To them.
Right. You weren't there when you saw this, but you know what happened. So you know they're not innocent in all this. That's what she's acting like. She's acting like these men are just innocent, poor little men. These women are just coming after. It's like, no, the men had this coming. Yes, the women have taken it to a whole other level, but to a certain extent, the men had this coming because they were messes, in this whole season.
Here's my thing. I think she's kind of skewed because of her experience with Michael. She's like, I was able to get a divorce and be civil with my husband, so why couldn't they do the same thing? They're not Michael. Like,
Yeah.
you got to understand, this is 5 different individuals. And she, as much as she's accusing them of generalizing how bad the men are, she's generalizing too by trying to say that everyone should have handled the divorce the way that they did it. Because she even says it later to Michael, like, maybe this is how you should handle divorces. Like, maybe this is the way it's supposed to be, civil. Like, she thinks that their situation is so much better and greater than what everyone else went through. And so she just doesn't understand how it turned so toxic, and thinks, well, if I'm able to be civil, why can't they should be able to do like I'm doing. So it's them in the wrong and the guys are fine.
Yeah, but like you said, she has Michael, who is civil to her, who didn't really do her much wrong, so they're able to keep it at a friendly level. But
Yeah.
you have so much toxic mess going on with those other couples that the women just cannot find their way. Neither the men or the women can find their way to be civil to each other.
Yeah. So we get Austin, Michael. No, Austin. Was it? It was Michael. Austin,
Yeah, it
Michael,
was
and
Cesar.
Cesar.
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
that was it.
Okay. And so they're standing off to the side talking to each other. And Austin says, like, someone online said that he looked like Ted Bundy. And then is it Cesar or Cesar?
Cesar, I think.
Okay. So Cesar was like, he's like, look, it seemed like there were 2 ends of the spectrum. Like, y'all are 2 different ends on the spectrum with how open you are with things sexually. And Austin was like, yeah, I just couldn't come to terms with telling my family. Or I couldn't come to terms with my family hearing me talk about sexual things with Becca. He's like, I'm just a normal dude that needs to build a foundation before I cross that barrier. So Cesar was like, so are you a virgin? It's like, no, I'm not.
No, man, I'm just a sensitive, normal guy that really needs to take time to know his partner before he consummates marriage. I mean, listen, I'm fine with that. Just be more upfront about it, because you were all like, yeah, we're definitely going to do it throughout the whole
Mm-hmm.
process. So be upfront and be like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Just say that. Not going to
Right.
happen.
Like, say it's not going to happen during these 8 weeks.
Mhm.
I want to
I
be intentional about, like, how, what our intimacy looks like, or what of us. But it was just like, oh, it's not happening. There's too much pressure. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, he should just shut down the intimacy talks early on. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna happen these 8 weeks. I would prefer for the cameras to be gone, when we consummate our marriage, so it's not broadcast for everyone to see. We've had that in the past, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gone fine. Like, it's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was so wishy-washy about it is what caused people to press him about it, because he wasn't saying it's not going to happen. They're like, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? You're going to do it now? You're going to do it tomorrow? You're going to do it next week? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? So this is as much as his fault as it's anything else's.
Yeah. So then Michael and Chloe are off to the side talking. And so she was like, do you consider us divorcees? And of course, they had little, like, banter before that. She says she's really proud of them both for being mature. She said this is how divorce is supposed to look. And he tells her she'll always have a special place with him, like, whether that's at a distance or if they're friends. He would prefer to be friends, but, if they are at a distance, then, that'd be fine too. And she says, like, she has fun laughing at the things he says and stuff he wears. And so basically saying, like, she wants to continue to be friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it already a little bit, but the thing about me is Chloe's holier than thou attitude that she has taken. She decided
Mm-hmm.
to take this whole special, because it seemed like before Chloe was more a neutral party. She wasn't being, she wasn't being crazy on one side or the other. She wasn't really commenting on anything. She kind of took a neutral stance. Now she's all about how she's so much better than these other women. She's so much better because she's such a friend to these guys. That's what's really rubbing me the wrong way in this moment about Chloe.
Yeah, same. Then we get Lauren. She's at home, and it was like a selfie video. She's like, um, her and her and Michael have a lot of interests, but her and Chloe are no longer friends. Chloe got irate when she followed Michael on social media. Lauren even said that she apologized. She unfollowed him, removed him as a follower, and Chloe said it didn't matter because it was the ultimate betrayal. And then Lauren was like, and she's friends with Austin. She's like, she is friends with Austin, and she doesn't see anything wrong with that. And she's like, and I'm not in the business of coddling people's insecurities, and I don't want to add fuel to the fire by trying to be friends with Michael if he's still trying to be friends with Chloe. So she's just removing herself from the situation.
Listen, I need the other side of the story because this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would Chloe be mad at you just because you followed Michael? Unless you were sliding into DMs.
No. I think it's what we just said. It's everything we've talked about up to this point. Chloe still sees Michael as her, so it doesn't take much. I don't put it past Chloe to have seen that for more than what it was.
Just a follow, though? Just a
Yes.
follow.
Have you met women sometimes? Like women that take claim, especially Chloe in the situation. In this group, Michael is hers. Her and Michael have the special relationship. I guarantee you, she got mad seeing the earring exchange of Michael giving Lauren the earrings because he gave her a sweatshirt and she thought that that was special. So I guarantee you she's going to feel some type of way.
But would this be the same energy if like a Claire followed Michael just because Lauren and Michael had this thing between them that so many people want to see them together?
That probably had something to do with it too. But that doesn't mean that Lauren was trying to slide into his DMs. That's Chloe feeling a type of way because of the public's reception. And then if she follows him, she's probably going to think, well, now people are going to see that she follows him and think something's going on with him. But no, I'm Michael's person. I just could see either scenario playing out. I
need more information.
You're not going to get it.
I need more info. Because I cannot believe Chloe got irate, as Lauren put it, just from a follow. Like there had to be some other
name another time in this season that Lauren has been extremely dramatic about something that we've seen play out.
Well, I don't know if it's the fact that she wasn't telling the whole truth or if this was edited in a way. I don't know which it is, but something seems off about it. I'll just say that.
I think what seems off about it is the reaction.
Lauren barely had enough time on the season to make, over dramatic remarks. So, I mean, I don't know what we can say about that, but I don't know. I think just the way Lauren was talking is like, and I just followed Michael and she got so mad about it. It's like, it just feels like something else happened. Something else contributed to this. I need more. I need Chloe's side of it. Who knows whose side will be accurate, but I need more info.
Well, you're not going to get it, for one. Two,
I'll be okay.
I could totally see, not you asking more from this season, I could totally see it being an irrational reaction by Chloe. And it could have played out that way where, if that was a situation where maybe Lauren left comments or Lauren slid in his DMs or whatever. I just don't feel that if it were DMs, Michael does not seem like the type of person to not respond positively. He's not going to shut her down. And in that scenario, why wouldn't Chloe be mad at Michael too?
Yeah, I just think you're putting too much credence into the Chloe is this hung up on Michael type of deal. I do think she wishes that the relationship had worked out, but I don't know if she's claiming as much ownership of Michael or that she's so love struck by Michael that she's causing this scene with Lauren based off of nothing.
Yeah, we'll do a poll in the Facebook group.
Okay.
I'm reading into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the vibe I'm getting.
Okay.
Which could be it. It could not be it.
Yeah, the vibe I'm getting is there's more to the story, and I don't know what that more is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of doubt it. It doesn't take much sometimes.
I mean, listen, you're more into the social media dating thing. I'm just an old man who hasn't dated in years, so I don't know anything about. I don't know anything
Like,
about this Insta, Facebook, Instagram, Instabook you guys are messing with. I just don't know.
because it's totally a thing to like. You start talking to someone and they have Instagram, you may be interested in who they follow.
You're monitoring who's liking their photos and all that good stuff.
Sometimes you may need to.
I just had this image of Aysha at her computer at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, you got another like here. Who's this? Let me go look at look
Who's
at this
scrolling at
account.
3? Yes, that's a problem. Because why are you scrolling at 3 a.m.? Actively liking stuff. That was a dangerous game back in the day. Instagram used to let you see who your followers were liking. Like you had a feed on your Instagram that showed Jason liked this photo. This person liked this photo. And it was just all it literally was all the people you followed and what they were doing. That was a dangerous game.
You could do a lot of sleuthing back in the day, apparently.
Absolutely. And they took that away some years ago, but before they did that, I was like, I would be nosy and go look what other people were liking. So anyway, we get a scene with Emily and her therapist, Dr. Eric. Do you think this is her real therapist?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, how real and accurate is this? I would say, yeah, I think so. I don't think it's that far out of field for Emily to be like, hey, my show wanted to know if you wanted to, maybe be on the show. We can tape as
Mm-hmm.
part of a session. I'll give it to him and say this is her real therapist. This is a real session.
Yeah, I didn't know either way. So she said she has discovered that Brennan is like her dad in a lot of ways because of like the pushiness. We find out that she did have to set some boundaries with her parents a few months ago where she's not speaking with them. And I didn't even realize that like we didn't see her parents outside of the wedding, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I'm struggling to remember even what her parents like looked like, or if we had
Mm-hmm.
any real like interaction with her parents. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know throughout the season she talked a lot about how her dad would push her in sports, and
Mm-hmm.
would
Soccer.
be a little too hard, too critical on her. So I could definitely see where she would find that comparison between Brennan, who was probably very critical of her many times during their time together,
Yeah.
saying she's not good enough for this, not good enough for that, or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
may have you.
She said she did learn about friendships with her friendship or relationships with her friendships with other women. And she didn't realize she had low self-esteem coming into this process. She talked about being so competitive and how like her 50% is better than most people's 100%. And he gives feedback back. I didn't know any of it, but the last thing he said was, calm seas don't make good sailors, and you'll be a good sailor.
Yeah, I think the therapist is trying to get across the point of like, you don't have to put other people down to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
And he was talking about finding a balance between being, self grandiose and putting yourself down. I said, Emily, you have like, I wouldn't know that Emily had low self esteem because she keeps putting herself as a, I'm a 12 and you're a 2. I'm a
Hmm.
8.5 and you're a 6. I was like,
Yeah.
and anytime, Brendan would say you're negative, she's like, I'm the most positive person in the world. So I don't see the low self-esteem. That doesn't mean that she doesn't suffer from it, that she doesn't internalize that. Maybe she is trying to put up this facade of high self-esteem when she really feels low
Hmm.
self-esteem. I don't know. I'm not in this woman's head. But
Hmm.
from the outside looking at her exterior, she didn't seem to have low self-esteem in the moment in the seasons. Even then, she's just like, even as the guy says, you don't have to put other people down to make yourself better. She's like, I don't know. I was like,
Hmm.
it's like you're still kind of just petty. I don't know how much you've grown and learned from this.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the gist of her therapy session with her therapist. Michael and Chloe went to get dinner. And like they've been doing this whole episode, start out with a little banter. She's like, if you had gone one button lower, I would have thought you were coming on to me. And he was like, yeah, one button lower, you would need a pregnancy test.
World-class banter, those two.
Right. He's like, he realized she had to endure so many skirts and bandanas and all the other stuff he wears, that he's giving her some reprieve by wearing something that is just like, pants button down. He
Normal.
gives he gives her this orange sweater that they flash back to where she wore it when they went house hunting. He's like, I figured you looked way better in it than I did, so here you go. She's like, thank you. He said the guys really enjoyed the animal sanctuary. He tells her how he's like, they've been giving him crap about his decision on decision day. And she was like, look, it's proof that you can be the whole package at the wrong address.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, it was like, if I got a package at my address and it was the wrong address and it doesn't have the correct address on it, if it has my address on it, I'm opening it.
Listen, if I get a package at the wrong address and it has the address on it, I'm opening it up, looking around. Some new Jordans in my size. Maybe no one knows this package got delivered here. Who knows?
I ordered some stuff for the dogs on Chewy, which is like the Amazon version for pets. And or it's like Amazon for pets, basically. It comes so fast. And I accidentally put in the wrong address. Like, it had my old address in there. But it's not far from my current house. And so I was like, oh, let me go. Or I sent my brother to go get it. If he wasn't here, I would have went and got it.
You said your brother.
He happened to be here.
Like he's your personal assistant.
Right. No, he had just got out the car. So I was like, hey, do you mind real quick going to get this? Because he was already in car mode.
Do you mind going to a stranger's house and asking them if they have my package?
And so literally it made it. He was there probably because I went outside right when it said it was delivered and I saw the picture. I was like, I put the wrong address. So it was like defaulted to the wrong address. And so he goes, which is like not more than 5 minutes later, the lady had not only her dog, but my Chewy package in her hand. And she said, oh, I was about to open it.
That's right. That's right.
It just arrived.
Listen,
she didn't give nobody a second.
Is all my property legally? It belongs to me now.
My gosh. I said, if I had not gone, if my brother had not gone in that moment, my stuff would have been opened.
That's right.
If we waited 5 minutes later, like, oh, okay, I'll go get it later today. She was about to enjoy.
All's fair in love and packages.
Those salmon treats.
That's
all
right.
their little treats. Anyway, Michael asked, like, okay, what do you think about like getting the whole group together? Chloe questions if they even want, like, if the women want to heal. She doesn't even think they want to heal. Michael's like, yeah, I just think they need to break free of the group think. And Chloe thinks every single man is a good man and was just matched with women that weren't their person. She's such a guy's girl. And
she's like, these ladies are just mad because the whole world saw them get men that didn't want them. I was like, okay, Chloe,
I know that's when it was overboard.
You're doing a little much now, Chloe. You're doing a little much now. And the previews for this episode were so wrong because they had her just basically, they had cut out the part where she's like, it's like questioning, do they want to heal? Where she just said, these ladies don't want to heal.
Yeah.
It's like, that's funny. But yeah, you're going a little too much now, Chloe, because it's way more complex than what she's saying it is. Like,
yes.
It's not about the fact that they were rejected. It's about the way they were rejected.
That they were rejected. Yeah. Because she acts like they all said yes on decision day.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, Chloe, you were the only one that said yes.
Becca said yes, hesitantly.
Oh, yeah. Becca and Austin. Okay. The asterisk. And so we get a confessional from Chloe. She does say she wants to show the women some grace and forgiveness.
I rolled my eyes so hard. I was like, okay, now you're really just trying to be this holier than thou person of like, I am the better person, so I will allow them to say their apologies to me, and I will deem them with my forgiveness because
Right.
I'm such a wonderful soul. I was like, all right, that's going a little much now.
Yeah. So the ladies, the pink ladies, decide to go get tattoos.
But no acknowledgement of were they invited? Did Michael extend the invitation? Did the
Right. We
ladies
don't know
decline
yet.
it? Like what is happening? They don't even get mention of it.
Mm-mm. So let me find out that Chloe invited them, quote unquote, and
I
the
texted
message wasn't received.
I texted them, they just didn't respond back. Let me see your phone,
Right.
Chloe. No, 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 don't. You're not
I
thinking like
delete
that.
messages once a day.
Yeah.
So we find out that Becca is not getting a tattoo because she's going to Australia in 3 days. I said, well, they fit in this where are they now just in time because she
Mhm.
is about to be gone. And Lauren is not sure about getting a tattoo yet because she just doesn't know if it'll be a reminder of the roller coaster of everything that happened or if it'd be a reminder of the happy time. So she's on the fence right now. So just Emily and Claire are getting tattoos. And Emily says that this was the biggest life event she's been through. And they said that how did they phrase it? They were riding the wave.
Yeah, they were releasing their anger or something with like a wave in an ocean or something like that. It was all,
Yeah.
mumbo
Basically to
jumbo.
say they're getting a wave tattoo, right? So she does it on Emily. Emily said it doesn't hurt that bad. And so we do have the tattoo here.
Yeah, like y'all tell me for those that didn't see the episode that need a reminder that are watching the YouTube, check this out.
It's a wave.
How is this a wave?
Look, if you were the pointy part at the top, that's where if you're surfing,
It's not
that's
even
a
pointy.
wave.
That's a blob at the top. This almost looks like they started a picture of like a pigeon or a dove or something, and they just stopped midway
Have
through.
you
Like,
never like drew like an ocean, like a fake ocean on a piece of paper?
yeah, and it had a point where the wave is supposed to be, not a just amorphous
You're
blob
looking no,
where the
are you
crest of the
looking at
wave
it
is
from
supposed
the
to
right
be.
perspective?
What perspective am I supposed to look at it? This is the top here is where the top of the
We
wave is,
can't
right?
see do you have your mouse there or something?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the same picture you're looking at.
Oh, I thought you were pointing. So you see
I
the
am,
flat
but
part
just
at
for
the
me.
bottom.
So
That's the water, right?
the flat part on the right.
When a
Yes.
wave happens,
Yes, this is the wave cresting supposed to be, right?
yes.
But there's supposed to be more of a point here. There's no point to this wave crest. This is just like
The
a
point
flop.
is where it's as if the wave is falling.
I think it looks like they started a bigger picture and just quit midway through. Honestly,
Oh
I
my!
don't get
How?
wave
I
from
think it's a
this.
very simple wave.
I don't get wave from this at all. It looks like they started a tattoo and gave up in the middle.
Okay, here is a wave. Goodness, it
I
literally
know what
looks just
wave
like
looks like.
this. This like a tattoo version of this. So let me see. Maybe we can have both up here. Window. Here we go.
I'm waiting for this
Okay.
fantastic wave picture.
So we have this wave here. Let me see if I can add both. Oh, it's just
You
one.
think this looks like the tattoo?
Yes. Look,
Get out of town.
here. It's the same positioning.
It is not.
Have you never seen like a simplified version of a
Oh
drawing?
my gosh. This it's so
Why am
rudimentary.
I having to defend their tattoos?
It's like a second grader drew it. It's a
Yes.
squiggly line. You think somebody that is looking
Literally,
at this
this is what it
tattoo.
is.
So do you think someone looking at that tattoo would like, oh, that's a wave? You think that automatically they would say that? If they're just looking at it, like, oh, that's a
No, but
wave.
when they tell me it's a wave, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see it.
No way, man. No way. It's just a squiggly line. That's all it is.
No, it's not.
It is.
Okay, then why do you have it tatted?
Well, listen, I just felt like in solidarity with the women, it's not. This is not even. This is almost as bad as their tattoo.
No, yours is worse.
What is you have in the yours is in like the wrong position.
My
Your wave is
wave
going
is
backwards.
falling backwards. Have you ever heard of wind?
So you just have it cresting in the wrong. You just have it cresting backwards, basically.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you do not understand the assignment. Look at this. This is perfect. It almost looks like
Yeah.
an R.
Watching on YouTube, you can see our tats that we got in solidarity with the pink ladies.
It almost looks like an R. Well, mine does anyway.
Right.
It's almost about as much as a wave as their tattoo is.
Oh my gosh.
Tattoos are terrible. Terrible.
I see the vision. Would I get it? No. But it's not for me. It's not my symbolism.
It's a squiggle.
Oh my god.
Real talk. Lauren and Becca saw the design and they were like, I'm not putting this on my body. I'm not doing this.
It could be easily covered up.
This was quite a letdown, though. This is supposed to be one of those, like, we're all going in and getting match tattoos, and two of them chicken out. Two of them are just like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Y'all two do it. At that point, what's even the point? This is supposed to be a 4-person bonding exercise.
They said, what's 50%?
Yeah.
Emily did say her 50% is better than most people's 100.
Oh, brother. Yeah, low self-esteem Emily.
So yeah, they get it. It's on there now, and Emily's like, wouldn't it be awkward if we weren't friends?
That's that negativity. That's that negativity Brenna's talking about.
He says that from across town.
He's just been watching the whole time. He's like, see, right there. He's just waiting for
Right. He's at home.
I got it on camera.
So we get Orion. I think this scene was specifically for you. They said, I think we need Orion with his best friend Dominic because it hasn't happened in a while, and we know Jason loves when Orion and Dominic hang out.
Yes, we get the return of good old Dom, my best friend Dominic, who got name checked several times at after party long ago.
Yes. So they get a little car. For some reason, he's not in his green machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. So Orion says it's just them driving. Like, I don't know that we didn't even get to their destination. It's them getting in the car and driving. Orion said he felt like he was really beating himself up during the marriage. He feels like it's really a blessing in disguise. And Dominic's like, getting divorced? He's like, well, his biggest takeaway is that he generalizes the things that he says. And Dominic asks, well, are you going to get back out there? He's like, well, and he's like, there's a lot of fish in the sea. And Orion's like, well, I might go fishing. Someone did see Orion on Tinder. That was on Reddit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. It's as if they forgot to include Onion being asked about dating from either Michael or Austin. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, we forgot to get his dating. Are you dating yet? Question. How are we gonna get this in there?
So I'm not dating. We can just get a random scene.
They just could have put that in there, and I would have been fine. Like, why did we need this whole scene was nonsense. It's the same stuff we've heard.
Yeah.
Time and time again. There's nothing new put in here, right? Other than the "Are you dating yet?" question. So it was just talk about this.
Everyone, move on.
Yeah, talk about a segment in a whole show of segments that wasn't needed. This was the most not needed segment we got.
Yeah. So we finally get to the group event that Chloe and Michael were planning. This is the big invite that they sent out to everybody so we could see who shows up.
Which, like, finally, we're gonna get some resolution. We're gonna get our couples in the same spot. We're gonna get some more updates about how they're feeling about each other.
Yep. And so Michael and Chloe are there first, and then Austin walks in with his roommate Kyla. And it's like, okay, we're getting the ball rolling. We're getting some extras. Maybe Dominic's coming with Orion. There's some plus ones, but it's okay. This is about to be fun. No one else shows up. That's it. These four: Michael, Chloe, Austin, and Kyla.
And we really just dropped the ball because there's no discussion from the ladies about why they didn't show up, about if they actually received the invitation. They really dropped the
Mhm.
ball there.
Well, I mean, how can they speak of it if they never did actually receive it?
True. Very
They
true.
don't even know what's supposed to happen. They might have watched this episode and said, "What?"
Cause oh, you know what? I had the text all ready to go. I guess I just forgot to hit send. I was wondering why no one responded to it.
What
Oh
if
no.
they've blocked her?
Oh, they blocked her from the group chat. She didn't know. She's just sending they muted her from the group chat. She's just sending
Right.
messages out into a void.
Right.
She has
It's
no
like they've
idea.
never ever since I blocked them on Instagram, they don't ever respond to my messages anymore.
Michael's like, see, I know I should have been one to ask them because I am
My
the
number goes through.
I am the peacemaker of this whole
Right.
thing.
So when Austin arrived, him and Michael gave each other this like weird open jacket hug situation. Michael said he did put some feelers out, but no one seemed interested. Um, Austin said that Kyla helped him throughout the entire process to just help him talk through things. Wasn't that one of him and Becca's issues was that he wouldn't express himself,
Yeah,
but he could express himself with Kyla.
he apparently expressed himself to Kyla, and that was all he needed. Apparently, he did. Who needs a wife? I got a roommate.
Right. My roomie hears all about all of my feelings. Okay. He said he jokes that like Kyla missed him for sure while he wasn't there. And she's like, look, I am the youngest of 7 siblings. I'm just used to having someone to talk to when I come home. And we get a confessional from Chloe. She's like, it just seems like, if something was going to happen, like it could have, they've been roommates for a long time, probably would have happened by now, but you never know. Sometimes you keep fall in love with your roommate. So this is just this random one off from Chloe
Yeah,
because nothing else really indicates that they're
it was like
trying
your
to see
brother.
each other.
It was like your brother sister vibe between them. I was like, another off read from Chloe, who is just full of off reads. It's just and they made this is another one of those things they put in the preview for this episode. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, he's also going to be dating his roommates. Like, no, not at all. They're
Yeah.
basically brother or sister.
So Kyla asked, were there any weird things with Michael and Chloe when they started living together? Chloe's like, yeah, Michael just likes to walk around naked. So that was something to get used to. Did you peep that Kyla was like, well, I'd be down with that with you to Michael?
Let me see the helicopter. I won't take a ride on a helicopter.
Oh my God.
I didn't do the Patrick Cowboys for that one.
Wow, that was just Jason.
That was just me.
So Kyla was like, well, from the little bit of getting to know y'all, your friendship seems seamless. She was like, I did like when Austin was going to do stuff for this, he'd be like, oh, the guys and Chloe, which this is the first time we're seeing the guys and Chloe. So what are you talking about?
What is she talking about? Like, when are you talking about yesterday when he went to the animal sanctuary with them? Like, that's the only other time he could have used that terminology.
Unless they've hung out, because they've clearly made it seem, even at the reunion, that it's Austin. Austin hangs out with Michael and Orion sometimes, not because because Austin said he doesn't feel like they hang out that much,
Right.
and so I'm like,
but she said she said specifically filming with. I'm
yeah,
filming with the guys and Chloe.
unless he was
Yesterday
just lying, like,
I don't-
bye, Kyla, I'm going to film.
he just goes and vapes. Like, that's all he does. Like, he just lies constantly. He just goes and vapes by himself. That's his kink. It's like, they think I'm doing stuff. I'm actually just vaping.
Becca said, I told y'all
I'm a
he
bad
was
boy.
dishonest.
I'm a bad boy.
So Kyla says, okay, she's like, I'm gonna say something. I'm just gonna go ahead and come out and say it. She's like, I do think that you're a bit more mature than the other women.
What? Kyla.
Which I
Get out
felt
of
that's a
here.
low blow because this is Austin's ex-wife. Becca, how much immaturity did she show? When she wasn't being grouped in with the other ladies, I don't feel like she was immature in her relationship with Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, that was kind of called for. But
it was almost like Kyla had watched the reunion. It was like
Yeah.
I saw a reunion. You handled yourself way
And that's
better than the
it.
other ladies. Yeah.
Yeah. Chloe's like, look, I go where I'm loved and valued and appreciated, which that's how she feels around the husbands. And Kyla's like, yeah, I work in a middle school. I don't want to leave. I want to leave that there. I don't want to deal with middle school behavior outside of middle school. So another women bashing session,
Yeah.
basically. So all this, we get our last scene of the season. All the ladies are all together. Well, minus Chloe. They brought their wedding dresses. They are donating them to this place called Wish Upon a Wedding, where it helps couples that are facing like terminal illnesses plan an entire wedding. Like they plan them everything that they need in order to get married, and so they accept, and everything is volunteer based, and so they accept donated wedding dresses. So the women are all donating. The 4 women are donating their dresses. And so they kind of go around and explain like what kind of energy they want to put into their dress. Emily wants to put in hope. Lauren, she hopes for a miracle, and she's like, she hopes that they look as good in it as she looked in it. Becca wants to instill confidence in her dress. Claire wants to put the energy of bravery and strength in her dress. We get a confessional from Lauren. She's like, God may not give you what you want, but he gives you what you need. She has this newfound friendship in the 3 women, and this new love for herself. And then Lauren says she's like, I don't have any ill will towards the husbands. Emily's like, oh, I do.
Yeah.
Lauren was like, I know.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. Emily says she hopes when she's married and rich and hot that Brennan just appears out of the abyss and realizes what he misses out on.
Emily, I'm really glad you're focusing on the important things in life. Being rich and being hot. Like, I'm really glad that you have seen beyond yourself and have learned so much from this experience that this is what you still are spewing. I was like, man, you can't help yourself but to just be petty.
Lauren was like, look, what you're feeling, Emily, is on brand for a first relationship. And I said, ding, ding, ding. So we talked about last week.
But a first relationship when you're 16, right?
Well, obviously she didn't have that experience.
But she's not 16. She's 30. Like,
exactly. So she's
even though it's your
immature in
first
relationships.
But you should be more mature just as a person
Listen,
to handle it differently.
Jason.
Asia.
When you are immature in relationships, it shows through no matter what age you are.
I guess this is just a little much. But you can just see why this was her first relationship. Like, we get it now. We were wondering when the season first started. We were like, what is wrong with Emily that this says she never had a boyfriend? Now by the end of this, I'm just like, yep, I get it.
Lauren tells her, look, don't hold your breath on someone like Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
And then Emily's like, I just think it's healthy to have a little bit of hate for people after something like this.
You were just in a therapy session where you were cautioned not to do this type of stuff, and here you are, just spewing the same nonsense. Oh man,
I know. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a minute for Emily. I don't know if she's gonna get over this anytime soon. I think she's gonna need
present today. She's still on social media coming at everybody. So it's been well over a year. She's still holding on to all this stuff. So
she's saying Rudy can get it. Anybody.
I'll make the chopper sing on all of y'all.
Right. And so Emily's like, look, I know I'm not gonna talk about the process. I already got yelled at by y'all to stop talking about the process. But we get a confessional from Emily saying she feels the universe matched her with him for a reason. And she's going to keep riding the wave and see where it takes her. Like the tattoo. We get a confessional from Claire. Claire says she has to let go of the Claire that needed to be a certain way. So that's her reflection coming into this. She tells the ladies they're her favorite sister wives. We get a confessional from Becca said anytime she anytime she thinks she knows her flaws, more come up. So she's going to just try to fault less. And Emily does tell the ladies that they are her family. Then we get a closing like montage of the men, which
And
I didn't
Chloe.
take and Chloe, yes, it was all the men and then Chloe at the end.
It was so weirdly done because
It was all footage of the old them. We see them pre-haircuts.
we saw onions. I think we
No,
saw but we saw them beginning and we saw them at the end, I think is what it was.
yes, well, it was because it was their confessional that they were doing what they learned.
Well, I felt like the
but
slow
them walking in the park
montages of like
that was Orion and Michael pre-haircut.
Yeah, it was weirdly done because we got this whole scene of the pink ladies reflecting, and then it's just like, oh crap, we forgot to get the men and Chloe talking about what they've learned.
Wouldn't come back out. We didn't do it at the ranch.
Yeah, so we gotta just throw this thing together at the very end. I was like, oh, this is just so sloppily done.
Yeah, so they talked about what they learned, but it was all literally nothing new.
All nonsense. You already heard it. We don't need to go back over it.
You've heard it the past however many episodes since
we spent 2 hours talking about the same stuff over and over again. You already heard it. It's nothing new. Trust me.
Exactly. So that's it for season 17 of Married at First Sight.
Now, see, I went through the reunions. I was like, yeah, I'm not sick of it yet. I'm not sick of it yet. Give me more. Give me more. This was my breaking point.
This did it.
Be gone. All of you. I'm done with you. Please get off my TV screens. Just mostly because of the way this thing was produced. Usually these Where Are They Now specials are extremely produced. This was less so, I felt like, because it seemed in the past, it's always been like, hey, we're going to make this excuse for everyone to get together.
Yeah, someone's birthday or whatever. Yeah,
this felt less so produced, but it was the same conversations retread over and over and over again with no real revelations, no real closure, no real answers to anything. So this was quite a waste of 2 hours. I have to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully y'all didn't feel that way about this podcast.
Right. This is the bookend on our coverage of Married at First Sight season 17. Cannot believe we've been talking about this since October.
Didn't miss a week. Did not miss a week.
Just the specials. But we always do that. But it's not like a regular episode came on and we were like, oh, catch you next time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we want to thank all the people for rocking with us as long as y'all did. I know it's tough to hang in there. To all those that kept giving us props, that we're better than the show. You don't watch the show anymore. You just listen to us. Thank you to all those people. Thank you to Aysha, who does a lot of the heavy lifting of this podcast. I just come in and make my little jokey jokes and run out.
That is the most important part. I wouldn't have the legwork to do if there were no podcast to do, and the jokey jokes keep us going. So thank you to Jason for always staying fresh with all your opinions and making the people laugh and engaging with people in the Facebook group.
Yeah, and thank you to our Facebook group. They really keep this engine going.
They're our heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure. It's such an added benefit. Actually, I don't even think you gave the Facebook password.
I didn't, and I was going to at the end. So, look, if you want to go join the Facebook group this week, the password is
Full Moon Reiki.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to all those people that stuck with us and keep things interesting and lively in the Facebook group every week, where we break down the episodes. Shout out to all those people that constantly contribute to the Facebook group that keep that thing lively and going.
Yes. And thank you so much to RHAP behind the scenes. So thanks to Scott St. Pierre, who edits our podcast as well. Who helps with editing is Derek, Jess Sterling. Thank y'all so much for putting out our content. Thank you to Tricky for the graphics. Everything you see here, all the graphics every week you see is great work by Tricky. Thank you to Will from America for our amazing theme song that you hear every week. That's so catchy, has us dancing. So just thank you to everyone that helps put this podcast together so that we're able to put out content every week about this show that we love to love.
I don't ever hate the show.
I don't ever hate it. It's more so like, whew, okay, now we got that season done. Maybe we can get something fresh. We still don't know about Chicago and when it's coming out. So stay tuned for that. If you're in the Facebook group, obviously we'll update there. And obviously, thanks to Rob Sister Nino for giving us a platform to be able to talk about Married at First Sight. So make sure
nobody tell him that this show is still going on. I don't even know if Rob knows that he still has a show on his network. So let's keep that a little secret.
Right. Yeah, so make sure y'all go subscribe to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, because of course when Chicago is back or when we know anything, just check the Facebook group. So if you are in the Facebook group, you'll know before anyone else. And yeah, thank y'all so much for, like Jason said, for rocking with us. We've had fun. This wasn't the best season of Married at First Sight, but we had fun talking about it nonetheless.
Yeah, we're always going to make it interesting.
Yeah. So, Jason, where can people find you if they want to keep up with you on the Good Pod?
You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. Yes, as Asia mentioned, I've started a new podcast venture called The Good Pod with my frequent PSR.
Were you about to say with your favorite co-host?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
With my frequent poster recast co-host, Marissa Garza, we're talking about all things good, including Good Wife, Good Fight, and now we're talking about the show Elsbeth. So if you're into those shows, that's the place to go, where we're talking about each episode. We're talking about 2 episodes per podcast, so every other week we will have a podcast dropping. We've got 2 episodes out already, so go check those out. Also this week I was on the 90 Day Fiance RHAPup with Puya. I had a great time there. Had a lot of fun breaking down this most recent episode of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Also coming up, I will be talking about the animated show X-Men 97 this week. The week this episode came out. We talked about that on the podcast Screen and Page with DM Philly. He was also another PSR frequent host there. I'll be talking about that show over there for this past episode. Asia, anything going on this week? Anything going on coming up recently? Whatever have you?
Just follow me on all social media at Asia Like Asia. It's AYSHA like ASIA. Of course, posting all the good dog content. So if you want to keep up there, give me a follow on Instagram, especially because we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. So
you must be so sad. You were like, that's never going to happen. TikTok's not going anywhere.
It's a year before anything will happen, so I still get to enjoy my daily scroll.
Well, listen, I'm sure an American company will buy it, and they'll still be there. I have no doubt TikTok is here to stay.
Or people will make the transition to Reels. A lot of stuff that people share on Reels anyway were TikToks first, so Reels have the same capability. I just got to find all my favorite TikTokers on Instagram, So
the tough life.
This transition period.
What a tough life for Asia.
Right. And then the last thanks to Pepper and Cinnamon for napping so graciously during every podcast. I appreciate them for knowing when we come in this room, it's nap time.
Business. It's business
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I never get to see them consistent. They downstairs, it is not a constant 2-hour nap. They'll nap for 30 minutes. Then, the wind blew outside. Let me go look. Let me bark. And then, okay, I'll go back down for another 45 minutes. Oh, now I'm back up. But up here, they might go get some water or something mid-nap, but they go right back to sleep. So.
Shout out to the Spice Girls for being trained right, getting down to business. When mom goes to this podcast studio, that's your time to nap, and don't bother mom.
Right. But yes, thank y'all so much again for sticking with us this season. We had a great time. So until next time, I guess. Bye.